So it's been a week or so. It's been a few weeks actually, and you've seen probably so many Moondrop Chu videos that you're thinking of buying one. Well, you're not the only ones that saw it. Right after I put my video up, somebody reached out to me and said, "Oh hey, we noticed you're covering budget IEMs. We just thought you'd like to know that we've got something that we think is pretty good and also definitely targeted in the extreme budget end of the market." Oh. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you? Oh, it's just with this IEM brand. We've been around for a little while. You might have heard of us. I don't know. We're called Tin Hifi. Well, I mean, okay. What are you guys working on? Oh, well, I mean, just something to cater for every budget. And this time it's the $20-ish hotspot. I think we're on to something, to be honest. Why don't we send you one? Have a crack at it. Give us, your honest opinion. Go ahead, do a review thing. It's what you do, right? That is, in fact, what I do. Go on, send one my way. And they did. This is a review of the Tin Hifi T1s. That's right, the T1s was just a sleeve. Inside the sleeve is a box that said T1Plus, and inside the box were IEMs, and on the shell of the IEM, it says T1Plus. I was very confused. I reached out to Tin Hifi and they said that basically the T1s is a spin on the T1Plus. It's based off of that, and to save time, they just sent me sort of a pre-production type of unit, and it says T1Plus, but it's actually the retuned T1s. Okay, great. Is it any good? Well, it depends on one question. Do you believe that an IEM should be particularly good at one particular genre and that it's okay to have different IEMs for different genres? Some people do. Or do you believe that an IEM is an IEM? It should just be good at everything. It should be able to do a pretty decent job at various things. Well, when I first put them on, it was like I walked into a party. Hey, what's happening? Bass, is that you? What's happening, man? Long time no see. What's going on? How you been? Have you been working out? Have you? No? Oh, you've been eating a lot of pizza. Okay. Well, I mean, you look healthy. You look healthy. And this is clearly, I mean, you've taken up the whole dance floor. But what's that? You've had a few drinks. Hey, it's a party. Who's that behind? Is that you, Mids? What's happening? Long time no see. Oh, I like what you're wearing, my guy. That is a statement. Sir, that is a statement and I respect it. Yeah, what's that? I can't hear. Yo, Bass, do you mind? I'm just trying to talk to Mids. Just give me 1 second. What's that? I can't hear you. Bass, you're working on a new project? Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to talk to Mids. Just 1 second. Do you know what? You look like you're having fun. Let me just do a lap. I'll go meet everyone. We'll catch up. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Hi. What are you doing? Highs? Oh my God, is that you? What are you even doing down there? Why are you sitting there behind the kitchen door next to the waste paper bin with? Oh, you're hogging the beers. I see what you're. Oh, you're not drinking. Oh, that's cool. Did you get? Is that one of those fancy new sparkling waters? The little passion fruit and the mango. No, it's still water from the sink, from outside the house. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, as long as you're having. What's that? You didn't think anyone would notice? Hey, I noticed you. You're definitely there. Down way down there, but you're there. Why don't you come on up here? You're just happy if someone just notices you. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. Okay. And that's kind of what it was like. The bass was definitely a little too boosted and it basically bled right into the mids, which means the mids, although they were lush and forward sounding and nice and warm, they were definitely quite muddied by the bass, quite noticeably so. And it doesn't help it that this is complemented, or rather not complemented, by highs that were, in my opinion, a little too recessed, especially for this kind of tuning, just didn't stand out. And that's when I changed the genre of music. When I review something, I usually default to hard rock and heavy metal, not because they're my favorite genres, but because they tend to be a little bit demanding on any IEM or headphone. There's just so much going on in so many different frequencies, and they're just constantly fighting for attention, and a good IEM will be able to resolve all of that and represent it to you nice and clean. This one, not so much. But when I switched over to a little rap, a little hip hop, a little pop, a little J-pop, a little K-pop, you get the idea. All that sort of thing, right? Where there's still a lot happening, but it's not anywhere close to the likes of a heavy orchestral piece or heavy metal or anything like that. Well, that's when they started to shine, because there was a lot of bass. There's a lot of oomph in there, for sure. So that helped hip-hop tracks. And because the vocals were never too complex, they ended up sounding somewhat clean as well. And those recessed highs, I still think they're a little too recessed, but to their credit, you can keep listening to them all day without the highs ever being fatiguing if you are sort of sensitive to that. Overall, then, I think this is definitely an IEM that lends itself to hip-hop, J-pop, K-pop, that sort of thing without being fatiguing or sharp in any way. Unlike the Moondrop Chu, the Tin Hifi T1s doesn't have any timbral issues. This actually sounded really natural in terms of the timbre. Combine that with the lack of really sharp highs means that this is a more relaxed listening experience overall. That is something I can appreciate, and that is something you'll appreciate if you listen to only certain genres of music. But if you're anything like me and you expect an IEM to just work across the spectrum, I mean, why should I be limited to a certain genre of music, am I right? Then I can't really recommend the T1s for you, unless you're willing to EQ it a bit. Now, normally I don't talk about EQ, but in this case, I will mention that some serious gains were to be had with just a little bit of EQ, just a tiny bit, just my level of lazy ass amateur EQ. Even that produced some surprising results. After just a few minutes of what can only really be described as a childish attempt to EQ by ear, I managed to change things up for the better, noticeably so. Just, you know, bring the upper bass back a little bit and suddenly you've got nice clean mids. And I can already see some of you saying, oh, you brought the upper bass. I would totally increase the sub bass and get more rumble while still reducing the yeah, you're trying to min-max this. I see what you're doing. If you've got a $20 device, these drivers, they're not going to do amazing in terms of resolution. So sure, you can boost that sub bass up to high heaven if that's what you want, but what are you gonna get? Like a louder blob of sub bass? There's no resolution there. So just stop trying so hard, okay? Just chill. And the mids now sounded clear. The bass was still very much present because you've already got that big boost. I just tweaked it a little. Bumped that 2 kilohertz just a smidge for a little more vocal oomph, a little more presence. Nice. And then we start to look at the highs. 4 to 6, okay, but 6 onwards, bump it up a little more and you get suddenly, you know, hi-hats, cymbals, all those things start to shimmer and swirl a little bit. Everything starts to feel a little more open, more airy, more sparkly, and then suddenly, just like that, it sounded like a totally different beast. I kid you not, the T1s started to really shine. I mean, I just let Apple Music run wild, right? I put it on shuffle and basically it went like a freaking drunk jukebox, desperately in need of Adderall. I mean, we were jumping. It was Polyphia on one side and then we jumped to Kendrick Lamar and then it was Zakir Hussain. How did he get here? Doesn't matter. We keep going. There's Iron Maiden. Oh, we're listening to a little Nickelback, bit of a throwback. Fine, whatever. Didn't matter. All of it sounded surprisingly good. There was bass, there was gravitas in the lower mids while still not muddying anything, and then when we got to the highs, that little nice sparkle and air was definitely there. And that's basically it. Out of the box, I'm afraid the Tin Hifi T1s is just kind of not where it's at. If you limit yourself to only a few genres of music, but you don't want that sharp metallic timbre or the piercing highs that the Moondrop Chu might have for you, then the Tin Hifi T1s is a valuable contender. It's definitely an option that you should consider. But if you're like me, if you just want an IEM to work, then as long as you're willing to EQ it a bit, all I can say is the results are surprisingly good while still maintaining that natural timbre of the mids and the highs. That's when the T1s starts really becoming worth it. So yeah, there you have it. Out of the box, not so much. If you're willing to work with it a little, might be one of the better $20-ish IEMs out there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Tin Hifi T1s. And this is a request for you to subscribe to the channel because that will help me out. We're trying to grow it extra this year. I'll see you in the next video. Stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful. Namaste.